I don't have APIs. Guys, it's not a virus. This came from a university website. People um, who are developers in advanced artificial intelligence and machine learning, deep mind, neural networks, the real stuff. This is for the big boys. You little kiddies need to go to bed. This is for the adults that are taking over. Oh, shit! Guys, I know how to do this. Okay. I can do this! Alright, so basically, let me catch us up. So, the first thing you have to do is download a exe file, which is a Windows installer, which will install the Tesseract OCR, which is standing for optical character recognition. It will install the Tesseract engine, which is basically a software program, into your program files list on Windows. Now, from there, you can use the command line in Windows to instruct Tesseract, this software program, to open up a file such as a PNG or JPEG file and output in a TXT file the letters or numbers located in the JPEG or in the picture. So you feed it a picture file, you feed it the path to that picture. It will open up the file stored at that path. It will identify the numbers and letters in that file, and then it will spit out its answer into your output TXT file. Now I want to put the Tesseract OCR or the Tesseract program in one of the subdirectories of my main program where I'll be using it. So my main program, which is, let's say it's scraping the web or it's trying to access an account and it gets a Captcha pop-up, it will screen grab the Captcha image. It will, well, it's not going to use print screen, but it's going to use bitblit, which is a command that tells your graphics card to copy a region of your screen into memory. And then from there, I'll save that that pixel capture of the region of the screen to a JPEG. And then from there, I'll save that JPEG to file, and then I'll call using a command line prompt the Tesseract software program, instructing it to feed in that JPEG file and output what those digits are in the CAPTCHA. And then it will output that to a TXT file, which my program will be listening for. As soon as it detects it, it will open it up. It will read in the contents or the answer, which is going to be what Tesseract thinks that CAPTCHA says. And then my program will copy that text, the answer to the CAPTCHA, into its clipboard, and it will paste that into the form and then hit enter, and then I'll have bypassed the CAPTCHA. Now, some CAPTCHAs unfortunately are skewed. Sometimes the letters are different sizes. Sometimes there's background noise. So we're going to run a series of filters probably before issuing the command asking Tesseract, what does this say? Filters using different tools available with different libraries that specialize in different types of things, such as libraries that specifically remove noise behind text, libraries that specifically remove skewing and rotating of the letters of the text, and then once we've cleaned up the text and made it all vertically aligned and noise-free with a white background, then we'll feed that image into Tesseract. So those are some ways to improve the accuracy of the CAPTCHA solving. Now, I could have used a CAPTCHA solving service online with an API, where I can basically tap into somebody's server, feed it an image, and they'll attempt using their software solution to solve the CAPTCHA. If their software fails, they'll send it to yet another third party, which will have a human that actually solves CAPTCHAs all day, somebody living in China or India, to solve the CAPTCHA, and then they'll send the answer back to me through the API where my program or my code is listening for that answer. But I decided I'd rather have an in-house solution because the CAPTCHAs I'm looking at solving I think will be very doable without going through a paid service. Plus, you know, I'm an advanced artificial intelligence developer. I don't need to go through a paid service. In the long run, I'm going to have all my own code. Now, I'm using a third-party library or engine called Tesseract to do my character recognition instead of making my own. That goes against what I generally like to do as a programmer. I like to code it all from scratch. However, I think that as a programmer who is planning to make large contributions to the field of artificial intelligence, I need to be aware of how to use third-party tools so that someday I can make my work contribute to the AI community after my death by making my work third-party or by integrating my work into third-party tools in some way in order to pass on that knowledge to others. Otherwise, it'll be lost. Also, I think that using a combination of in-house tools and third-party tools when it comes to artificial intelligence is a wise move. Maybe some AI developers have done a really good job at developing AI that does specific things, and maybe my AI will do a really good job at other things, and I can utilize the third-party AI tools to solve certain problems to save me time, and then I focus my programming efforts on problems that are not solved through third-party tools for free. So that's kind of the way I see it. It would be foolish for me to reinvent the wheel at every turn because it's just a waste of time. And if I can solve CAPTCHAs using third-party libraries, that would mean that I'm being smart. I'm saving myself possibly months of development time. I think it'd be a fun challenge, but it's not something. I mean, CAPTCHAs are literally designed to spoof or fool image character recognition software. They're designed to make that difficult for software to solve. Now, you can still do it, but it's hard. It's complex. So using third-party tools will make the job more streamlined and save me time. That's all. But yes, I would like to ultimately be able to do it myself. I think it'd be really cool. But for now, I am choosing the third-party route. It is free. This is the Tesseract software was developed by Google and HP. It was originally HP, and then it was picked up by Google, and now Google's probably doing other stuff. But yeah, I'm not a schizophrenic. No, I'm not trying to solve all captchas. I'm trying to solve specific captchas that I have come across and that are currently inhibiting my software that I've already developed from making me money. I am a real software developer. I have a real use case. This is not theoretical. I really will make more money in real life by implementing a CAPTCHA solving solution. That's a fact. This is not, I just think it'd be a fun project. It's not, wouldn't it be cool if I could create a program that solves CAPTCHAs? Hee hee. This is not that. I have an actual CAPTCHA issue in my life I'm trying to solve. So that's what's happening here. So I'm putting the Tesseract program in one of the subfolders of my main program. It got installed under C drive, program files, Tesseract-OCR. I just created a brand new .c++ file, .cpp, and I'm naming it Tesseract Text Recognition Engine Tester. I'm going to save it. It's a C++ source file using dev C++. Alright, instructions. So this is just a simple program that closes TeamViewer pop-ups that I created. I use it as like a, since it's like only 400 lines of code, I use it often as just a starting point for creating any other software application. So I don't have to start from using all my includes and stuff. It just saves time. Alright. This exe will call the Tesseract engine by name via its exe file path, and it will feed it command line style a image name, a image within which will be text that we want the Tesseract engine to read and output as plain text in a .txt. Note, for more complex text solving, such as captchas that are complex and very skewed and warped, it is advised to first run the image through a noise filter engine, noise filter removal engine that will output cleaner text for Tesseract to read, thereby improving accuracy. Another suggestion was to remove any borders around the text that could be mistaken for being text. Also, run the text through an engine that will remove any warping or distortion of the text prior to feeding a image to Tesseract. In other words, other engines provide superior solutions for cleaning up text, while Tesseract is specifically good at simply saying what the text is saying. At simply identifying characters of text. Okay, so we can revisit some of those concerns later if we find it's not good enough. Will this be for my robot? It would absolutely be a tool that my robot could tap into. Any improvements I make in my software systems for other projects that involve AI or image recognition can certainly have crossover applications for my robot. Someday my robot will need to be able to read text, and this can be used for him too. So it is for my robot as well, yes. Alright, we don't want to add this to auto start. So that is a difference here. Okay. My progress is already saved. I save every time I... It's like a habit. I save like every time I type anything. I save like 50 times a minute, or or like once every 15 seconds I save. It's like a nervous twitch at this point. I just hit Control S constantly. Because DevC++ does sometimes crash. Okay. Alright. I just added bool establish folder structure equals true. So it will, this is already true. It's going to run into the main while loop. It's going to do this, establish folder structure, which will just determine where program files is. In my case it's on C, but some computers it might not be. So this will make it work on any computer, regardless of the directory setup. Okay, so we had to establish folder structure, which we've done. Not particularly interesting, but now we're getting to the good stuff. Gosh, I feel like a hacker using command line like this. Oh my gosh. I just misspelled decipher on the image. I think we're good. Let me try this way. Oh, come on. Ooh, it's working. Okay. 7RR95. 7R. Oh, 7RR65. 7RR65. And they gave me 7RR95. Interesting. Oh, that does kind of look like a 9, though. I could see. Yeah, that looks like a 9. For sure. Sure, I'd love to, Mailbox, even though I am a real roboticist. Just in my head for now. Yeah, of course I would not mind talking to a roboticist. I have many times talked to them in my chat. I don't know if I've ever had them in Discord. Alright, so I got it to work there. What the heck? Yeah, it has to do with not giving the full file path. Actually, we might be able to put it in the file path of the originating calling program. That will probably do it. Yeah. But no, we'll be explicit. Yeah, it was trying to look for the file in the wrong place, that's all. I couldn't find the file. So when you give it instructions, it's going to be first the full file path is given to tesseract.exe all the way. Tesseract path string. So it's my other game directory string / network stuff / shared file stuff / Tesseract text recognition engine, which is the folder it's in, the engine's in, and then tesseract.exe. That's the engine itself. So we call that, And then we give it a space plus, and now we do the full directory, which slash networking stuff slash shared file stuff. Okay. Slash this folder slash this space plus well, I would just like to do out for now. Well, no. We'll be explicit on the output file path as well. Okay. Image to decipher text from string plus a space and then the full directory path of that. And that should work, I think. Alright. Then we need / that all the way. It needs quotation marks around the entire path. Okay. So we start with a quotation mark at the beginning. End with a quote and then a space. And then another quote. And then another path. And then an end quote. Okay, I think that should work. I think it worked. I think it actually worked. And to verify, we'll go into Tesseract engines. Okay, image to decipher is here. Image text content. That's just created. 7RR95. We did it! What the hell? We did it, dudes! Oh my gosh. Okay, let me clean this up because it's 100 miles long. Let's see. Output path for... No. Path to image. We want to read string equals. Okay. And then we're just going to do the path. We did it, guys. Man, that was tough. Because we didn't know what was wrong, you know? It was all about having a full path. Okay. And then... So we're, for the instructions, we start with a space and then an open quote. And then we have our path. And then we have a space and then... No. Then we have a path. Then we have an end quote. Then we have a space. Then we have an open quote. Then we have plus. And then we'll have our path to our output. TXT. So you gotta know a lot of crap just to be able to even use like third-party tools. But I'm starting to be that guy that knows that crap, so I can actually use tools made by other people, which is like I had to know a lot of things to be able to use the tool. I have to know 1,000 other things. Path to output txt file string equals. Okay. And then we'll do... Okay, so it's end quote, open quote, plus path to output, plus end quote. Yeah, so we just wrote it in a cleaner way, so it's not so long. Okay, so let me declare these new string variables and then run it again. It's now just cleanly written. That's all we changed, is just writing it nice. And everything's in variables, so we can change the name of these, and we can change the directories as well for future. Okay. 7RR95. And it was 7RRG5. So, yeah. We had to get the full directory, and then if we wanted to not have to write all that stuff out, all we'd have to do is put the image to decipher inside the directory that this CPP file is creating its exe in, because WinExec is expecting the file to be there. Or no. Yeah. File structures are all relative to the calling program. So the calling program is saying, hey, this is the image. And if you don't specifically state the entire directory, like C drive : / program files / and go through the whole thing starting with C, or F drive, or whatever drive you are, if you don't go from the very beginning and explicitly state the entire directory, then it will assume that the directory you're referring to is relative to the calling program executable. So I was just assuming Tesseract would read my mind, and no, I was assuming Tesseract would look for the image in its own engine folder. But it doesn't do that unless if the calling program is also in its engine folder. It's going to look for the image file in the root directory of the calling exes folder. Unless if you explicitly state the full file path, and in order to do that you have to have quotation marks around the entire file path and file name, so that it won't like get confused from the spaces in your file, in your folder names. If your folder names didn't have spaces like mine, networking stuff is the name of a folder I created. If I changed all the folders to be like networking stuff like that, then I wouldn't need the quotations. But because I have a lot of spaces, Windows is like, oh, that's the end of a command because there's a space. Space actually has a meaning when you're doing command prompt stuff. So it all has to be in quotations, so they don't consider the spaces to mean, okay, we're doing something else now. So that was all the quirkiness. And now that we've got that figured out, now we can start using any commands we want, including specifically stating the language with the L added instruction, etc. So we get to go through all these examples now. Command line usage. We can do it all. I can now feed any directory I want on my entire computer. I can tell Tesseract with a specific file name any directory on my whole computer, and it will open the file at that directory. So I don't have to put any more of these images in the Tesseract engine folder. I could put them on my desktop, I can put them anywhere, as long as I give the full directory path. And so I set a nice precedent for that, where because of the way I wrote the full directory path in my source code, now when I go through and want to do actual Captcha images with my actual program, not just Tesseract Text Recognition Engine Tester.cpp, but an actual software application that wants to do this in real time for web scraping or whatever reason I'm trying to get past a Captcha. Now I can put the image, the screen grab of the Captcha, save it as a JPEG or a PNG or whatever in any folder I want, and then just make sure that when I call Tesseract to convert that image into a text file, I give the explicit full directory path, which I've shown how to do here. So I don't have to worry about knowing where the Tesseract engine folder is, or saving it into that folder. But knowing where the Tesseract engine folder is actually necessary in order to fill the Tesseract path string. So yeah, you have to find the tesseract.exe when you call it. Then you just have a space after it. So here's Tesseract path string, and we have that here. And then we do plus Tesseract instruction string, which is here, which contains path to the image and path to the output text file, with all the necessary beginning and end quotes. So yeah, I successfully used the Tesseract engine, and now my next experimentations will be using it on specific use cases of the captchas I want to solve, and also running any additional libraries to clean up the images prior to feeding it into Tesseract, if Tesseract's not being accurate enough. I also would be interested in learning how to train Tesseract to better handle certain fonts and stuff like that. And I think it actually has like neural network learning algorithms so it can learn new fonts and stuff.